He came to me. He came to me.
Elliot, he came to me too. I've been wishing for this since I was 10 years old. I don't want him to die. But his being here is a miracle, Elliot. It's a miracle. I'm glad he met you first.
E.T. is not of this world. He comes from another world. But he leaves his home, descends from above in order to visit Earth. And when he arrives on Earth, E.T. hides himself because he knows what is in those men. Very educated men, very intelligent men, men that have been searching for an extraterrestrial all of their life. It's been their dream to find an alien. Oh, sure, they're seeking him. They're seeking an extraterrestrial. Some of them have been seeking all of their life. But they're not seeking his heart. They don't want to be his friend. They don't want to love him. They want to capture him. They want to study him. They don't want to know him on a personal level. And so E.T. runs and hides. And you can see his heart. His heart glows brightly. In him is life. And that life is light. So E.T. hides himself from those scientists, from those adults, and reveals himself to Elliot. And at first, Elliot is terrified. But that fear only lasts a moment. As E.T. begins to establish a connection with Elliot, Elliot begins to be drawn to E.T. And that bond begins to grow stronger and stronger as E.T. just listens. Elliot talks to E.T. about all kinds of things, things that those wise and learned scientists couldn't care less about action figures and toys and fish and how to feed them, all of these things. And E.T. listens to every word that that child has to say and establishes a connection with his heart. Well, Elliot's able to go to school, and when Elliot goes to school, Elliot can feel what E.T. feels. Elliot shares his heart. And whatever E.T. feels, Elliot feels. And at school, Elliot begins to act like he's drunk. And everyone around him, they think he's drunk. What is wrong with him? But he is not drunk. He's full of E.T. He's not drunk. He has been with E.T. He has connected with E.T. It is E.T. in him. Elliot suddenly finds himself incredibly courageous. He courageously sets those frogs free and kisses the girl and runs out. That doesn't come from him. That comes from somewhere within, a heart within. That's the power of E.T. E.T. has the power to take away Elliot's pain. Elliot cuts his finger on a saw and says, "Ouch!" And E.T. looks at him and says, "Ouch!" and reaches out his finger and touches him. And the moment he touches him, his wound is healed. His pain is taken away. E.T. is able to take what is dead and bring it back to life. Even a flower, he brings back to life and makes it new. That's the power of E.T. That's the life that is in E.T. Those scientists, they're ever pursuing, ever chasing. They want to get their hands on E.T. And finally, they do. And when they get their hands on him, he knows he's about to breathe his last. And he tells Elliot, he says, "Stay." And E.T. severs that connection with Elliot. And that to Elliot is worse than the sickness. He would rather be sick and grieved than to lose that connection that he had with E.T. And then E.T. breathes his last, and E.T. dies. He is pronounced dead. His heart stops. That life within him goes out. He is placed in this icy chamber in order to be frozen. Elliot is devastated. His heart is broken. And he cries out, I can't feel him anymore. I can't feel anything. I feel nothing. Without him, I feel nothing. But in that moment of deep despair, the light of life returns to E.T. And that light begins to shine. Those flowers come back to life. The life returns. And E.T. is risen from the dead. He is risen from the dead. And Elliot cries out, you're alive! You're alive! From one moment, he goes from extreme sorrow to extreme joy in just a moment. From sorrow and devastation to overwhelming joy because he is alive. E.T. is alive. So Elliot departs, but then he returns with Michael and reveals that E.T. has been risen from the dead and that he is alive. And they go tell the other kids that he is alive. And they meet up with them at the park. And E.T. reveals himself to all of the kids, resurrected and alive. And they see it. They see that he is alive. They see the light of life glowing within. They take off and they soar, every one of them on their bikes. They soar through the air on those bikes, and they overcome. All of the forces that come against them cannot prevail. And after E.T. had been resurrected, it's time for him to ascend back into heaven. And Elliot is heartbroken. And he looks, touches his heart, and says, ouch. Sees the tears falling from his face, and E.T. says, ouch. It hurts. They're both hurting. But E.T. has to ascend. He has to go home. But before he goes home, he points to Elliot and he says, I'll be right here. I'll be right here. And then E.T. ascends into heaven. He returns home. He leaves this earth and returns home. But he's still with Elliot. Elliot can still feel what he feels. Elliot can still stay connected with him. All they did when they put this together is talk to children and ask children, what would you most like in a friend? And built a story off of that. See, I think children can write much better stories than adults because they are much more in tune with the deepest longings of our heart. And the deepest longing of our heart is to have a friend who is closer than a brother, a friend who remains with us, who will never leave us wherever we go. Even when he went to school, E.T. was with him. And even when he ascended back home into the heavens, he is still with him. And we all want a friend like that. It's the deepest longing of our heart. And that's why people will watch this and their hearts are moved and they don't know why. They begin to weep and they don't know why. Well, I can tell you why. Whether you realize it or not, you've just heard the gospel.